Chapter 14. Putting it all into practice. Do your own work first. Being cleared yourself can feel so good that it may be tempting to immediately try clearing other people, especially those closest to you. That's natural. You want them to feel as good as you do. But it's absolutely critical that you first focus on doing your own work and on learning how to keep your vibration up and your auric shield strong. By being consistent, you can build and maintain the solid foundation you'll need in order to do this work and not get beaten up all the time. Maintaining a regular practice, keeping up good housekeeping, can help you recover when you do get attacked. And if you decide to undertake this work, make sure you have another spirit releasement practitioner available to scan you from time to time. It's easier to remove entities from someone else than it is to remove them from yourself. We will never arrive at a point where we can relax and stop being vigilant, but I have found that the more I focus on keeping my vibration up and staying positive and clear, the easier it is to remember to do it. The healings themselves don't catch me off guard anymore. It's when I stop paying attention minute by minute that I'm more likely to get attacked. What works for me? Over time and through trial and error, I've learned what works for me before, during, and after a session. Consciously following these steps makes me more effective in the healing sessions and ensures my own protection and well-being. Before. When I'm preparing myself to work on anyone, before I even see or talk to the person or go in from a distance, I make sure I'm clean and clear and my vibrational frequency is as high as possible. I also make sure the room I'm going to be working in is clean, as is the entire building. I meditate and call in the Arcturians and my guides for everyone's protection. I do all of that for my own benefit ahead of time because once I get started, I don't always have a lot of time. Usually, the demons begin engaging me immediately. They try to take me out because they know they're going to be gone, and they don't want to leave. So I have to be prepared to go to work in an instant. Most of the time, I communicate with the person I'll be working on prior to the actual session, so I have an idea ahead of time what I'm likely to find once we begin. When I scan the person beforehand, I let myself go in just a little bit, and if my arm twitches, that's Archangel Raphael letting me know something's there. I can tell instantly if there are demons, because demons make me nauseous. A pinch on the neck means there are reptilians. I don't have to go in any deeper to know someone has demons and/or reptilians. People are not alike, and we don't all have the same abilities or sensitivities. Not everyone feels nauseous when demons are present, and although I don't see them, you may be able to if you have that particular gift. If you pay attention to your own reactions, you will learn how to sense them. It takes practice. But as far as the reptilians are concerned, you always need the Arcturians to pierce the veil and remove the force field in order to totally detect them. That's the only way to be sure. As soon as I identify the demons, they immediately start engaging me. So I'll ask Archangel Michael to block the transmission from them until the time is right to go in and do the removal. I'll also ask the Arcturians to do the same with the reptilians. When I'm working with someone who then asks me to check on another person, usually at a distance, I don't know ahead of time what to expect. I don't find out until the minute I scan that person. When I say scan, I don't mean visually. I do it by feeling or sensing. It's kind of an energetic analysis. Maybe a better way to put it is that it opens an energetic connection. I use it not only on people, but also on animals, homes, buildings, even objects. It used to take me a lot longer to go through the scanning process, and I wasn't always sure exactly what I was sensing. Now, I get instant confirmation, so I can tell if the person I'm scanning would benefit from a healing. If I don't find anything, meaning the person is clean and clear, there's nothing for me to remove. A lot of people have the misunderstanding that an in-person healing is stronger or more effective than a healing at a distance, which isn't the case. It doesn't matter whether the person I'm working on is sitting across from me in the same room or across town or on the other side of the globe. There is no difference in the strength or quality of a healing. Many people are hesitant to believe that, and if they have demons and reptilians in them, those entities jump on that thought and try to talk people out of having a session. Oh well, he's all the way over there. He can't be effective doing anything from that far away. That's another reason I always let people know they're going to face obstacles and roadblocks if they want to see me or have a session with me. One of those obstacles is the mind chatter from the demons and reptilians. It can be intense, but once someone makes a conscious decision to change, to have those entities removed, and commits to having a session, that's when the healing actually begins. Whether the session is going to be by telephone or in person, I start preparing well ahead of time. I may not be consciously working on the person, but energetically the work has already begun. Some people can feel it, and they tell me they were aware of me or the guides working on them. If the entities are being particularly disruptive and bothering the person before we're able to have our session, I ask the Arcturians or Archangel Michael to neutralize them and to provide protection for the person until we can actually remove the entities. Yes, I could remove them then and there, and sometimes I do, but many people like to experience the removals, and there are some who I feel should experience the removals, especially those who are more skeptical. For anyone who is doing removals, including me, the preparation is at least as important as the work that takes place in the actual healing session. In fact, it's essential. You simply cannot do the healing if you don't adequately prepare yourself. So I always give myself plenty of time, whether I need 15 minutes or an hour. I want to be my best for the benefit of everyone involved. Normally, I do the healings in a light channeled state, and they take a little bit of time to complete. This isn't a 5-minute process, even though I'm getting faster, more efficient, and more effective all the time. It's extremely important to work only on one person at a time, and to take your time with each person. If you have several people lined up to work on in the same session, whether in person or at a distance, you're bringing whatever they have into the energetic mix, which confuses things. Don't put any other names on the table. Don't go anywhere else until you've finished with the person you're focused on. Go slowly and make sure you've removed everything, or at least everything you can remove in that particular session. The guides will let you know if the person has had all he or she can handle at that time. At the beginning of a session, I bring in the Arcturians first, before any other guides. I ask them to send that shaft of light right down through the person's crown chakra and all the way down so it's grounded. That pierces the veil the reptilians use to prevent anyone from sensing them. It takes their power away, because when the veil or force field is there, you can't penetrate it. Psychically, you can't see through it. Even if you know the reptilians are there, and you ask the soul's permission to remove them, it's the reptilians who will respond, and they will always say, no, you don't have permission. If there are reptilians present, I can sense the Arcturians automatically turning that shaft of light into a vortex. The vortex takes the reptilians up just like a pneumatic tube at the drive-up window of a bank. But the shaft of light, which is a high vibrational healing and cleansing light, remains in place throughout the session, even after the reptilians are gone, or even if there were no reptilians in that person. The shaft of light helps raise the vibration of the person we're working on. Any demons that are present immediately begin engaging me, so I concentrate on removing them first. The reptilians usually sacrifice some demons right away, since they can control them. Do be polite when you're communicating with angels, archangels, star beings, and ascended masters, and remember to say please and thank you. But also bear in mind, they can't entirely feel what you're feeling. So when you're engaged in removing these entities, and you have multiple demons coming at you, it's appropriate to say, now, Michael, take them now, and whoosh, it's done. With experience, you begin to develop the certainty that what you ask for in healing and removal will be done. In the beginning, you may be a little unsure. It's part of the learning process, but eventually you will know. After those demons are gone, The Arcturians will take the reptilians. It's critical to ask the Arcturians to also remove the eggs. And whenever you cleanse a person, always remember to cleanse not only his or her home, but also the entire property and any vehicles of all entities and of eggs. Check to see if there are any portals where the person lives. If there are portals there, the Arcturians will tell you how many and how long it will take to clear them. The Arcturians will disable the homing device and reconfigure the person's genetic code, which takes 21 days. We don't do it. We simply acknowledge that it's being done, and the Arcturians take care of it. The Arcturians will let you know if the person has bloodline reptilians. Initially, I heard the actual word, bloodline. But now, as soon as the Arcturians begin removing reptilians, I can tell if they're in the bloodline or not. The Arcturians have trained me to be able to sense it. It's a different kind of energy, and it's very strong. Removing reptilians from the bloodline is a much more in-depth and powerful process than just removing them from the DNA, and it takes longer. The first time I did it, it took me over an hour of intense energy and concentration. Now I don't find it as difficult or time-consuming. When someone has reptilians in them, you can expect to have maybe 2 or 3 sessions, but the first session is usually the most intense. A lot of the work I've done on people has taken place in stages, like peeling an onion. Don't try to make it a sprint to the finish line. It's possible for it to all happen in a rush with everything going at once, but it rarely does happen that way. The entities leave in waves, and every so often one of those waves is a big one. After the reptilians are gone, Jesus will go in. Then there may be another round or more of demons to remove. Attachments may leave at the same time the demons are being removed, or they may go at a separate time. Discarnates tend to be the last of the entities to leave. Since discarnates and attachments don't have the same intense energy as demons and reptilians, their presence can also be easy to miss. So continue looking and scanning to see if there's anything else. When I sense something else is still there, but I'm not sure what it is, I'll ask Archangel Michael if he can take it to the light. If it's an attachment, he'll take it. If it doesn't go, then I know it's most likely a discarnate. The angels and archangels and other guides don't treat discarnates, human souls, the same way they treat demons or reptilians. They have more respect and compassion for them. They know who they are, so they treat them gently. Discarnates don't normally come in individually to hurt or harm someone, but they are often controlled by demons or reptilians. It isn't until after the demons and reptilians are gone that I can sense them. All you have to say to the discarnate is, just look up. Maybe they did look up at one time when they died, or maybe they already tried crossing over, but they were blocked or were afraid and didn't want to go. But now Jesus has gone into the person. The shaft or vortex of light is there, and the angelic realm is up around the opening. The heavens are lit up, and now the discarnates can see the light. Once they see the light, they don't take much convincing to leave. Whoosh! I can feel it when they go. Sometimes there's only one. Sometimes there are several. Sometimes there's thousands. I always feel a lot better when they've gone to the light. Some of the time I get a major backflash of unconditional love and appreciation from the soul or souls that just left. After all the entities are gone, Archangel Raphael starts looking for other things. You may start seeing cords, which can be attached to other people, places, or things, even to past lives. These are being cut. Don't be afraid to let people know what you're doing and what's happening during the session. I always tell them. If they think I'm nuts, that's okay. But I have never yet had a negative reaction from someone after I've told them. I think intuitively they know, and they appreciate my being forthright and truthful with them. Remind people that the healing process takes 3 to 6 weeks, and that they should take extra good care of themselves during that time. Really be gentle and loving. Focus on positive, loving things that makes them happy, joyful, blissful. grateful, appreciative. It's like having major surgery without having been sliced open. They will need to be ready for anything, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, since they will be going on a roller coaster ride for at least 3 weeks. In fact, I tell people to mark both the 3-week and the 6-week points on their calendars as reminders. And since this book was written, there's updated information on my website, waynebrewer.net. Under the members page, read the article about Jesus and the roller coaster ride. There's now a critical 13th day mark in there, a day mark, and as well as a 21-day mark, and especially around the 3rd day when Jesus normally leaves. So that's a lot of excellent additional information that you'll find on the members page of the website. After the first healing session, people sometimes continue hearing mind chatter from the entities and may think whatever was removed has returned. That's never the case. Once something goes to the light, it cannot return. But it is possible you won't remove everything in the course of the first healing session. Some people have so many current or past life issues to deal with that it's almost impossible to remove everything in one session. That's why I suggest up to 3 sessions over the course of a 3-week period. The first session can be exceptionally intense, so I always suggest another session about 10 days later, and then another one after the DNA has been totally reconfigured on the 21-day mark. How intense the recovery process will be and how long it will take to get through depends on a number of variables. What type and how many entities were removed is one. How long did the person have them? Did the person have reptilians? And if so, were they bloodline reptilians? Is the person already doing his or her work and trying to become enlightened? The more entities and attachments a person has had removed, the more dramatic the effects of the healing will be. If someone only has discarnates, they might not experience much during the recovery period. But if someone has had multiple entities for decades, he or she can expect to have a longer and more intense recovery. You can find more information about the recovery process following a divine healing session, as well as about demons, discarnates, attachments, and cords in Chapter 2. After. When you're finished with the removals, there's one more extremely important thing to do before closing the session. Ask for a cleansing for whoever is present or whoever has been energetically involved to make sure no residue from any of these entities has sloughed off onto anyone, including yourself. Cleanse all of those people. Cleanse yourself and cleanse the space you're working in with lots of white light. When the session is over, close the channel and let it go. Drop it. Move on with your life. It's important not to carry all of this around with you. When I first started doing this, I would leave the channel open, which is like leaving your crown chakra wide open. And I would continually be bombarded with more information about the person. I found that I kept thinking and thinking about it to the point where it was affecting the rest of my life. I learned the hard way that you have to shut it down. And you have to do that intentionally. So now, when I'm done, I'm done. Because I'm in a light-channeled state during a session, I may forget as much as 95% of what happens. I always tell people that ahead of time so they're not offended afterwards when I don't remember something at all. That's one of the reasons I record these sessions. All of this work requires intense focus and concentration, and that can take a lot of your energy. The process may sound easy, and in some ways it is, but you will be affected energetically. Whether you're affected positively or negatively will depend on how you're able to handle all of these different energies. When you first start doing this, expect to feel tired and drained afterwards. So schedule your healing sessions with that in mind. It's imperative that you take care of yourself, that you're in good physical and mental health, and that you keep your vibration up. Remember that we're dealing with very low, negative, dense energies and low vibrational frequencies from the demons, discarnates, and reptilians. On the other end of the spectrum, Jesus and the Arcturians and the angelic realm all have much higher vibrational frequencies. They all have to lower their frequencies a little bit to come down to our level, and we have to raise ours so we can meet in between in order to do this work. I used to feel drained afterwards also, but I don't anymore. I always raise my vibration before a session, as I've said, but even though I may get bombarded during a healing, by the time we're done, I usually feel energized and light, and my vibration is even higher. I usually feel good after these sessions. That's the beautiful side benefit of working with the Arcturians and the angelic realm and Jesus. But remember that I've been doing these removals for a while now. Right after you finish a session, you might find yourself on a natural high. Your vibration is high, so you may think you're impervious to anything, but you need to be cautious. Before you attempt to do anything, or another healing session, stop, slow down, get centered and balanced. Go in and meditate if necessary, and make sure your own vibration is raised and you're connected. Then you'll be ready for more. Why we do this work? There is nothing easy about any of this. The work is not for the faint of heart, but it needs to be done. So I think it's worth the risk. When people who have demons and or reptilians come in for a session, I can sometimes see it in their eyes, especially if they have demons. It's fear. They're looking out at me through all that mental chatter that's going on inside them. But after we remove everything, their eyes are clear and they're lighter. They look happier, relaxed, more peaceful. You can see the difference in their faces. A 1-hour session can make that much difference. Every time one of these reptilians, demons, or discarnates goes to the light, the vibration of that person improves. The vibration of everyone that person comes in contact with improves. The vibration of the planet improves. And we get closer to the 5th dimension, just that much closer. That's why we are doing all of this. To help heal every individual and planet Earth, one soul or millions at a time.